What's going on, everyone? I'm back today with another movie review. I finally got to see Wonder Woman 1984. Before I get started, if you could please subscribe to the channel and please like this video. Now you better watch out because it's time to get this video started. Let's go. Wonder Woman 1984 is a 2020 film that just hit theaters and HBO Max the same day, and this film is directed by Patty Jenkins, and the film stars Gal Gadot as Diana Prince, Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, Kristen Wiig as Barbara Minerva, and Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord. And the plot of this movie is we rewind to the 1980s as Wonder Woman's next big screen adventure finds her facing two all-new foes, Max Lord and the Cheetah. So I have to say, I really love this movie, but it definitely has its flaws, and I do think it's a lot different than the first Wonder Woman. So I do think a lot of people are going to be torn on whether they like it or not. I think some people are going to really love it, while other people are not going to like it at all. I'm definitely in the camp where I love this movie. Like I said, though, it definitely does have its flaws, and it's different than, the first Wonder Woman. Now, first I want to get into just kind of the general plot of the movie. There will be mild spoilers, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. I just kind of want to give you the general plot of the movie. So the movie starts out with, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince. It's 1984 now, and we kind of get to see her life where, from the outside looking in, it looks like, Diana has the perfect life. But if you look a little closer, she's still grieving the loss of Steve Trevor. Doesn't get close to anyone while she is, working and throwing herself into work. She's not happy at all. She just kind of caught her happiness off. So she just lives a very lonely life and doesn't get close to anyone. Now we do, she does meet Barbara Minerva, and that's like her first friend in years. And Barbara is definitely a lot different because Barbara is kind of nerdy and she's not really confident, and she really envies, Diana Prince because Diana Prince is beautiful, confident, and she wants to be like her, be strong like her. Now, an artifact comes into the museum, or comes into the place they work, and this artifact is said to grant wishes. Diana Prince inadvertently makes a wish where she wishes that Steve Trevor would come back to life, and that is how, Steve Trevor comes back into the movie. Now, at the same time, we have Maxwell Lord, who is after this artifact because he's really our villain of the film, and he's after this artifact because he wants to be powerful and rich. So that's kind of all I'll get to as far as the plot goes. And now I'll get into what I liked about this movie and what I didn't like about this movie. So my favorite part of the movie is definitely going to be, Diana and Steve back together again. Now, I think Gal Gadot and Chris Pine did a great job as far as acting. They definitely have a lot of chemistry together. And Diana and Steve definitely have a love story. And, the way the last movie ended, we saw, Steve Trevor die, and they had just met, and you could tell Diana Prince, that was her love of her life. So to see him die, it was just really, sad. And now, we see Diana Prince all these years later, and I think the movie does a really good job of, showing Diana grieving. While she might look good on the outside and looks like she has the perfect life, she really is just grieving. And I think a lot of people grieve this way. And the movie did a great job of showing, you don't really know what's going on in someone else's life. And she just has a very lonely life. So I think it was awesome that, we get to, Steve comes back to her, and those moments between them is just magical, and definitely very, very emotional as well. But I gotta say, their love story is gonna be my favorite part of this movie. Now, as far as, and I also like the movie's message as well. So Diana was very shut down and just she was grieving, but really not living. She wasn't fully living. She was just kind of stuck in grief. And I think the movie did a really good message by the end of the movie saying, you can't live that way. We have a short life, and you need to go after your happiness, however that is, and, live your life. And I think I love that message of the movie because, yeah, it is. We all do have a short life, and we do need to all go after our happiness. So I love that part of that as well. Now, as far as the fight scenes and the visuals, I think this movie is awesome. Like, as far as the opening scene was really cool. We kind of get to see the Amazons again and this competition, and it's beautiful. Like, that location, wherever they film at, is just beautiful there. The competitions were so cool to look at, and I definitely really like that. We also got some other scenes. We got some scenes, it's shot in the 80s, so we got to see a lot of malls and just 80s fashion, and Definitely some cool fight scenes. Wonder Woman in this movie, she's definitely using her lasso a lot more, but it's really cool to watch as far as just some of her cool fight scenes. And also, I think there's some really cool moments as well with Steve and Diana, where they're flying in a plane and there's fireworks. It was just beautiful to watch. Visually, it was really cool, and like I said, lots of cool fight scenes. I gotta say too, I really like Kristen Wiig in this movie as well. I liked her playing, becoming, Cheetah in this movie, and I think she had some really cool fight scenes. I definitely would love more of her because I really liked her a lot, and I liked her more than I thought I would as well, because when she becomes full-on Cheetah, I didn't really know what to expect, but I did enjoy it. I just wish we would have had more of her in the movie. Also, I like that in this movie, while the stone grants wishes, those wishes come at a consequence, and those consequences are really unique to the individual, and I think that made the movie more interesting, and we really got to see, people, while you get your wish granted, but at what cost? And it really poses the question, are you going to go after your own happiness, and no matter what the consequences are to not only you, but the rest of the world, or you're going to take the harder decision and be selfless and do what's right? So let's get into what I didn't like about this movie. One, I gotta say, this movie felt, especially towards the third act, felt very chaotic. So pretty much, in the third act, we see all these people getting their wishes granted. So, but it's not like it's like all these different people, you see all their wishes getting granted. So it just made for chaos to watch, and it was kind of hard as far as that to follow. So I definitely think the third act was just chaos, is the best way I could describe it. It kind of reminded me of like a Black Friday special, but really for like wishes, and that's what I was watching. And then as far as Pedro Pascal, I did like his performance as an actor, but as far as Maxwell Lord as a villain, he just didn't really work for me. It was kind of, it's kind of how I felt as far as he goes. And I think one thing is, he wasn't really, when I think of a villain, I think of someone evil, and I think of, the superhero and the villain battling multiple times, fighting multiple times. And with this, Pedro Pascal's character, Maxwell Lord, he really wasn't evil. He was just more a regular person who was after power. So I think that was one thing, too, that just separated him. He wasn't your typical villain. He really wasn't evil. And we didn't get to see, Wonder Woman and, his character fight, where normally you would see that in most superhero movies. It was more Wonder Woman was trying to find him and chase him down, and he kept escaping. He kept running. So the movie was more her chasing after this character the whole movie. So I think that definitely threw stuff off a little bit. And while there was action, I definitely think in a normal superhero movie, we would see more action because the villain and the superhero, we would see them fight more. And we just didn't see that. So I definitely think there was definitely a lack of action. Still good, and I still enjoyed it, but I definitely think it could probably used a little bit more. And now, as far as just the storyline, it was kind of weak, in my opinion. And Maxwell Lord, like I said, he didn't really care for him as a villain. I didn't really know what his objective was. I know he wanted to get power, but just how he was going about to get power and what he was trying to do in the last act was just a little off. And I don't know. Overall, I would say he was what I would say I didn't like about the movie, and I feel like a lot of people who don't like the movie will kind of feel the same way. It was just very chaotic, is the best way I could describe it. Now, as far as other stuff, I love the Amazon scene, especially in the beginning of the movie. I just kind of wish we would have got more of that. It was really cool to look at, and we kind of see them referenced in the first part of the movie, but then that's really it. We don't really get to see any more of the Amazons, and especially with Wonder Woman, it would have been kind of cool to see a little bit more of them. And as far as Cheetah, I did like Cheetah, but I kind of wish we would have gotten more of her in this movie, especially full-on Cheetah. The full-on Cheetah you get towards the very end of the movie. I just wish she would have went full-on Cheetah more in the beginning of the movie or sooner. We kind of see Maxwell Lord and Cheetah team up, but it's, like I said, not till the end of the movie. I just wish we would have got to see them team up earlier and then seen Cheetah be full-on Cheetah earlier. I think then it would have been really cool as far as that to watch, rather than, her becoming full-on Cheetah at the very end. And also, while I did enjoy Cheetah, some of the the effects, the CGI, was definitely a little wonky, and yeah, I just think they could have did better as far as that goes, and just how it was shot, and just it was kind of really dark. It just would have been cool if those would have been a little bit better. But those are my main critiques. Like I said, though, overall, I really did enjoy this movie, and yeah, I just kind of want to know what your thoughts are. If you have seen the new Wonder Woman 1984, what did you think? Are you on the camp where you love the movie, or are you in a camp where you absolutely hated it? I definitely want to know your opinions, and if you did see it, how did you see it? Did you see it at the movies, or did you watch it on HBO Max? And if you did watch it on HBO Max, what did you think of watching a new movie at home on a streaming platform? I personally loved it. So please leave your comments below, and thank you so much for watching.